The skill-based matchmaking in Unalive by Daylight has just been adjusted to be more impactful than ever, leading to what should be much more balanced matches overall. The problem is that DBD is not a balanced game, especially at the highest level of play. So even if really good survivors are playing against a really good killer player, whichever side brings the best perks, map offering, and advantages into the game is most likely going to win. Furthermore, the obvious outcome of stricter MMR is going to be a severe lack of variety in high-level games. It's going to be the same handful of top-tier killers, perks, items, survive with friends, and playstyles. In other words, the game is going to be very dull and punishing for players the more games they win, especially for players like me who usually don't use meta builds. Now, of course, there are players that really truly enjoy highly competitive matches in DBD. I myself enjoy it from time to time as well, but the lack of variety does burn me out pretty quick. I know that playing against a sweaty nurse, blight, or survive with friends every single match is enough to make me switch over to the Texas Lobby Simulator. So what options are left for behavior if they want to keep this new, more strict MMR system? Well, they have three choices. Keep the game as it is right now and just assume that players will learn to live with it, which they probably will. Or there's option B, which would require them to heavily rebalance the game for the highest level of players, resulting in the removal of a lot of features that are considered fun. And for the last option, they could finally make a ranked playlist and a casual playlist, which is starting to make more and more sense as DBD's community continues to splinter into two very different communities, one preferring the hardcore competitive aspect of the game and the other side preferring the more chill side of the game. I for one would definitely love to be able to curate the experience I want at any given time. If I'm going for a silly archive challenge that forces me to throw the match, or there's a seasonal event out, I'm going to prefer a casual playlist with other players who are looking for a similar experience. Now, anytime splitting DBD into a ranked and casual playlist is suggested, the same arguments get pulled out of the woodwork. Two modes would slow matchmaking times down too much, all the tryhards would stay in the casual playlist, why would anybody play the ranked playlist, so on and so forth. So let's go over why these arguments are not grounded in reality. First, DBD is in the top 20 most played games, averaging around 30k. I need water. Where's the water? Usually averaging around 30k players at all times on Steam alone. That's not counting the Epic, PlayStation, Xbox, or Switch players that all play on the same servers with crossplay. There's easily 100k players online at most times. Similar games like Rainbow Six Siege and Overwatch are able to maintain multiple playlists without any issues and a smaller population. So there's absolutely no truth to the idea that DBD could not support two playlists. Even DBD Mobile easily maintains a ranked and casual playlist. In fact, DBD could support way more than just two playlists, so this argument is completely invalid. DBD is in no way struggling with player count. The next argument is that nobody would want to play a ranked playlist, but that is only true if the ranked playlist offers absolutely nothing of value to players. So what are things that make competitively minded players want to play in a ranked playlist over a casual one? Ranked modes in any game are all about being the best and being able to prove it. So for starters, actual leaderboards would need to be implemented. Players love maining characters in DBD, whether survivor or killer, but as it stands right now, players have to self-proclaim that they're the best because there's pretty much no way to actually prove it. For example, if someone wants to be the #1 Xenomorph player in the world, the only real stat that can be tracked is how many tail attacks that player has landed. Now imagine instead their actual wins, losses, kills are all being tracked officially by the game. You can go to the ranked leaderboards and not only see who the best Pinhead and Chucky main is, but you can also see who the overall best killer player is in general. Overwatch has done a great job at something similar with their top 500 and stat tracking. This could work for survivors as well. Even though survivors are basically just skins, it would still be pretty awesome to see who the top survivors are, like who has the most escapes with Meg or the most pips with Dwight. This would naturally make players who want to be the best gravitate towards the ranked playlist. A ranked playlist would no longer need to hide MMR levels either. This would finally eliminate the annoying MMR debates about who is playing a top MMR and who isn't, allowing the community to form better consensus on balance changes. Now, you can make the argument that DBD might have the player count to support two modes, but behavior doesn't have the resources to balance two modes separately from each other. However, I actually agree with this argument. I don't think they can completely balance these modes independently from each other. So instead, what they can do is make simple common sense changes to the ranked mode in order to make it work for high level play that has no effect on the casual playlist. For example, removing the ability to use any non-Bloodpoint offerings. That way there's no gameplay affecting offerings like map offerings. They can also completely remove maps from the ranked playlist if they're considered too unbalanced. A lot of other games have stricter map polls in ranked playlists as well. They could even go as far as to ban certain add-ons, items, and even perks if need be as well. In my previous video talking about a ranked playlist, some of you suggested that the perks shouldn't be able to be used if your teammates already have them equipped, but I disagree with this. This is a ranked playlist and not an esports tournament. Other changes that make sense in a ranked playlist are showing your teammates builds in the pre-game lobby so you can synergize and solo queue, deactivating certain or maybe all archive challenges, seasonal events, and DC penalties would need to stay as they are now or become even more severe. Alright, so the next question is, what will stop players from sweating in the casual playlist? But the inherent problem with this question is it's implying that players in the casual playlist don't care about winning. And I'm sorry, that's just not how games work. People will always try to win, no matter how casual of a game they're playing. There's no changing that. So what the developers have to do is mitigate this playlist so that it isn't taken nearly as seriously as the ranked playlist. So to start, skill-based matchmaking would not be a part of the casual playlist. The casual playlist would need to be an updated version of the original pip system. The casual playlist would also have no stat tracking. This would make competitive players feel like they're wasting their time playing it. Competitive players would really want to keep track of all their stats. So ideally, they would really only want to play the casual playlist because maybe they're not feeling very sweaty, maybe they want to warm up, play in a survive with friends, with their casual friends possibly, check out a new build that might not be good in the ranked playlist, enjoy a seasonal event, or do some archive challenges. But if they're feeling really sweaty, like they want to go in and just destroy everybody, then it would be more beneficial for them to go into the ranked playlist where they're actually getting rewarded for it. DC penalties as they are now would need to be reworked in the casual playlist, in my opinion, to reduce instances of survivors giving up on hook, but that's a big topic on its own, so I don't want to go into detail about that in this video. Again, like I said, the DBD community is really splintering into these two separate communities, and it's creating a lot of unneeded animosity, and it seems like creating a ranked mode would truly solve a lot of the issues. Obviously, some people will never be happy no matter what, but overall, it would be a pretty big positive. A year ago, I was still mostly against a ranked mode because I wanted DBD to go in a more casual direction, but that was a bit selfish of me, so I have changed my mind on it. What do you all think though? Would you want a ranked playlist and a more casual playlist in DBD, or do you think there's a better solution that makes the community happy, or more specifically makes both of these sort of two separate communities within the DBD community happy? Let me know, and as always, thanks for watching and have a good one.